Hey, good people, this is Cheryl Harris with Cheryl Harris Enterprises, also known as She Knows, your health, wellness, and fitness and lifestyle expert. Yes, I'm still a fitness coach because the knowledge doesn't go away when you get sick. The knowledge is still there, you just have to apply it. Okay, so now I'm helping stroke survivors become thrivers by reclaiming their resilience, their strength, their confidence, and just doing it one move at a time. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the videos are going to be about medical billing and collections. Okay, guys, I'm also a former bodybuilder, a 33-year veteran collector. Okay, so I was a bill collector for 33 years, so I'm aware of everything, and I'm going to talk to you today in the video about what transpired with me today and how you guys can go through things if you happen to get ill or if you have to have a lot of medical bills. So let's talk about it. Come along with me. Let's talk about how to handle it. So I'm going to talk about now what I did as a bill collector. I collected on a number of things over the 33 years. Medical bill collection was not one of them. That's something I had no interest in. I had no interest whatsoever for bill collecting on medical bills. That's just something that's just not right to me, in my opinion. But there's a way to handle everything, okay? So what I collected on was consumer loans, foreclosures, home equity loans, HELOCs, credit cards, things like that. I never collected on checks, anything like that. People that had checking accounts that went into collections, I never collected on that. I collected on major things, in my opinion, major things. Like I said, consumer loan, which was a loan for your car. And a personal loan, which is personal loan after actually you took out and you just never paid back. And then credit cards along with mortgages. I did mortgages, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, bankruptcy foreclosures. And I did all those things over the 33 years that I worked in collections. And one of the things that I worked on was a third-party agency collecting on things like Speedy Cash and all those, check and go loans and things like that. Those are very difficult to collect on. And I say that because, number one, those collections had 300 to 400% interest on those accounts. Guys, be very careful when you're going to get those quick loans and speedy loans and all that stuff. Make sure you read the fine print. Read the thing where it says, the disclaimer where it says if you go into default, that they can tack on 300 to 400% interest rate on that. It does happen. You don't get those loans and then just don't pay them back. I mean, some people don't, because everybody don't pay. Well, the thing is, I pay my bills, but when I got sick, when I had a stroke, my credit just got shot to hell, gone, out of there. Okay, so for a whole year, now you can repair your credit. That's something you can repair. You can get that back on point. There are a number of things that you can utilize to rebuild your credit and get back on point. Just call the actual creditor, see what you can do to work things out with them. Okay, so let me tell you what happened with me today. I'm going through my mail because my mail has just been piling and stacking up. So I decided to go through it, and I saw a medical bill there. I saw something from a collection agency. I was like, what? A collection agency? Yes, you haven't worked in an entire year. You haven't received any income in an entire year. Yes, you're going to get those types of things. So when you get sick, as I've had a stroke, you guys know, back in April 2024. When you get sick, things fall behind, unless you have help from your family members or even from the state, whatever assistance you can get, anything that can help you out during your time of recovery. So mind you, I was in stroke rehab for 30 days, okay? And I have a video on that, and I'll show it to you guys. I'll link it here where you guys can see it. See the above or below this video where you can watch that. I did it live on last Sunday. My experience in stroke rehab. I think I talked about everything, but no, I did talk about it. I just didn't expound on it enough. I may do a part 2 if you're interested in it. If you're not, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste your time on it, okay? So let's talk about the medical bill call that transpired today. So I looked at the mail, I opened it up, and I said, it's a collection agency. And there was like 5 bills, April 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th billing date that was sent to me. And I noticed it was from a collection agency. I said, now why am I getting something from a collection agency when I had insurance during that time? So I opened it up. I looked at it. I said, no, I was in rehab during this time. So this is not correct. They just didn't do the proper billing for this. And that happens. That does happen. So let me tell you the right way to do this, guys. Please have a clear mind, an open mind. Don't go in there sassing the adjuster or the representative that you need help from. Remember, you need help from them. They don't need your help. You need their help. So go in. You ain't got to be all jolly and just be professional. Just be nice, calm. Don't go in there rolling your neck, smacking your lips, having an attitude, telling these people what they ought to do. They don't ought to do nothing. All right. So again, let me tell you how to handle this. So what I did, I went and got my insurance card. I pulled out my insurance. I called the number. First, I called the collection agency. Call them agency. I called the collection agency. Okay. And I wanted to know what it was about because I said I shouldn't have a bill because I had insurance during this time of the billing that's on this letter. So we went over it. I said, what do you need from me? They went through the natural verification. They're going to ask you for your name, your date of birth, verify your address, including apartment number if you have an apartment number or P.O. box or whatever you got. They're going to go through the necessary verification that's required to make sure that they have the right individual that they're talking to and they're not talking to a third party. So you're going to go through the verification process first. And I said, well, I'm not sure why I have a bill because I had insurance during that time. What do I need to do? What needs to happen here? Because I don't have that money to pay for it. I mean, it was only $120.77 for that particular bill. But when you look at 4 or 5 of those bills from the same place, that adds up. You know what I mean? That adds up. So she stated that, well, if you had insurance during that time, you need to call your insurance company. Okay, now mind you, this is April of 2024. I had my incident April 4th, I believe it was, April 4th and April 7th. This billing was from April 13th, 2024. Okay. And on top of that, it was from a kidney disease center. And I'm like, am I getting billed for this? So I'm looking over everything. I'm reading the bill and checking it out. And I called them. They said, well, if you had insurance during that time, then you need to call your insurance company and talk to the billing. I said, sure, no problem. So I get my insurance card out, just taking it step by step. And I'm documenting and writing down everything, the date, who I talked to, and all that, because although they're supposed to document it, sometimes you can have a better reference. If you can say, well, if you look at the notes from the date of such and such date, this date here at this time, I spoke with XYZ. And they will have that in there. You don't have to go through all that, but they will have that in there. But if you need to help them out with reference, then that'll help them out. I just write down everything. That's the bill collector me. I just take notes of everything, okay? So I called the insurance company as she instructed, because what I said to her, I said, oh, you're a bill collector. No, you're a collection agency. She said, yes. Yes, I am. I said, okay, well, thank you very much for taking my call. I'll go ahead and call my insurance company. I wasn't saying things like, Well, y'all know you're not going to get paid. Well, you're a bill collector anyway. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not paying this bill. I didn't do all that. I didn't do all this through the phone, because you can tell, literally, you can tell somebody doing all this through the phone. At least I can't. I don't know about nobody else, but that's a gift that I have. You can tell by their tone. You can tell by the elevation of their voice. You can tell by the change in the tone of their voice, if they're being sassy and so forth. So I called the insurance company as she instructed, and I got somebody else on the phone. She's very pleasant. Went through the verification process again, gave her my plan number, and told her I received a bill, and I shouldn't have received a bill from a collection agency, and I had insurance during that time. So she goes, she asked for my insurance plan, the necessary information, verification, your name, number, date of birth, address, city, state, and zip code, and all that stuff, right? Okay. So I gave her the dates, and she said, well, give me a second. You have the name of the provider? I gave her that information. I gave her the collection agency information. She ended up calling the billing of the place that the original provider. She put me in hold. She didn't say, let me call you back. She put me on hold. She called the billing place. She got a hold to someone, gave her all the information. This is my insurance company. She gave her all the information. The representative came back to me and said, oh, it was copay. They said it was copay. Nope, I don't have a copay. She said, okay, then I need to call her back. Yeah, while I'm on the phone, if you can do that, that would be great. And she did. She called back and she got another representative. Another representative said that it's the what do you call it? Deductible. I said, guys, it's neither one of those. The type of insurance I have, I don't have a deductible. I don't have a copay. I don't have any of those things, because I have the insurance. I have a different type of insurance than everybody else has. It wasn't Blue Cross Blue Shield. It wasn't Aetna. It wasn't United Healthcare. It wasn't any of that. I didn't have a copay. Okay? So I said, is that the answer that they gave you? So they just coming up with answers out of nowhere, right? I said, so let's call them together. They called the billing department and find out why the claim was not submitted. Because the claim that the insurance had submitted of me was in May. This claim, or this collection agency bill, was from April of 2024. So when she called, had me on the other line, they called the agency. Now I can tell that the billing lady had major attitude. When she was talking to the insurance lady, now the insurance lady was very nice. The one that she was calling, all of a sudden, those two started exchanging words. They said, no, she doesn't have a copay. Well, it's the deductible. I said, in my mind, are you just making up stuff, or is this stuff that you know? Like, come on, we're talking about something that I take pride in paying my bills back, because I'm a bill collector. I was a former bill collector, so I get it. So you can't just throw something and say, oh, it was this, oh, it was that. No, I don't have a copay. No, I don't have a deductible because of the type of insurance that I had. No, I don't have any of that. She said, well, the insurance agency, the insurance representative said, well, can I just give you the information that I need so you guys can just resubmit the claim, and that way we can take care of it on our end? She said, well, it's been more than a year, so it will be denied. This is what the billing person was saying from the provider. I was like, she said, oh yeah, because you have to do it within 60 to 90 days of the day that they got it. Well, mind you, I'm going through a pile of mail, so it very, very well may be a year old. And yes, it was. But I want to clear up my name just to get it cleared up. And if they need to submit a reclaim or submit a claim, then let's get that process started. Well, it was too late for that. So the insurance adjuster was very kind. The insurance representative was very kind. She said, well, let me do this. let me see if I can submit this to our claims department to see what they can do, because what happened was the provider did not submit the claim in time enough so they can get paid. But the representative was so nice, and because I didn't give any pushback and all of that, she said, well, let me look into this for you and let me see what I can do to try to get this cleared up. I'm going to submit this to my claims department and put down what happened, what actually transpired, because the actual provider did not submit the claim at the time of the service. They didn't do it. And in the beginning, they were going back and forth saying, well, you guys didn't submit the claim. Well, you guys didn't pay this. You guys didn't do that. I said, I'm on the phone. Like, I know they're not arguing while I'm on the phone. Right? They're not going back and forth while I'm on the phone. I thought it was kind of hilarious, but it all worked out in the end. So I said, I know y'all not arguing on the phone with me on the phone. Y'all need to deal with that without me on the phone. But I had to be on the phone because I had to verify myself with the billing provider, the billing department provider, while I was on the phone with the insurance adjuster or insurance agent. So what the insurance representative said, well, let me do this. Let me see what I can do to try and resubmit this to the claims department. And then what I'll do is I'll give you a call back. I said, do you have a direct number? I got a name and last initial. She doesn't have a direct number. When I call back, I have to talk to someone else. Or they're going to attempt to call me back once they submit it and see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is either give it 3 days, and today is Friday. I'm going to give it at least 3 days, or I'm going to give it about a week. So guess what happened, you guys? Listen, I know I stopped that video abruptly at the end because I was getting a call coming in, but I knew the number that was calling in was something to do with my medical, my insurance, or my appointments. So I had to stop the video abruptly and come back and continue. So guess who that was? The two people that were arguing, the billing department and that was talking to my insurance representative, she called me back to clear some things up. See what happens when you're nice? It's nice to be nice. And I know the game. I know the rules. It's nice to be nice. So the billing lady called me back and said, hey, I'm calling to let you know it was not your copay. It was your deductible from your previous insurance that you had, because you had the insurance from October 2023 through April 30th, 2024. Well, the billing was for April 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2024. So it's within that time frame. And she said, your insurance was correct. They were not billed for the deductible. So you're not going to be responsible for it. We're going to call the agency, the collection agency, and we're going to pull it away from them, because she's right. We did not file a claim, and I'm going to resubmit the claim now and have that cleared up and taken care of for you. I said, wow. And I said, you know what? Thank you very much for calling back. Thank you for looking into that, taking the time to look into it, and thank you for calling me back to give me an update. I really do appreciate it. That was the end of the call. See, there was no back and forth. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. There was no neck rolling. There was no smacking of the lips. There was no I ain't paying nothing. There was none of that. None of that. Everything turned out fine. Just have to know how to handle things. A lot of the time, people handle things, talk to people because they don't know how to communicate with folks. They really don't. They have a lack of communication skills. And I really did. The one that was actually had the attitude was the one that called me back, which was awesome. So I'm going to jot that down in my notes. So when my medical called me back, my medical insurance called me back, they're going to let me know what's going on. And if it coincides or if it jives with what the billing agency just told me, then I have nothing more about it. And now, bam, that bill is gone just like that. All right. So if you guys have any questions, if you have anything concerning, like, during that time, I want you guys stressing out about nothing, because my credit is already gone. It's gone. It's shot to hell right now. But I'm going to rebuild that. I'm not even concerned about that because I know how to rebuild that as well too. Okay, so if you have any questions about anything, if you've actually taken ill and you have anything, questions about bills, about whether it's medical, any other bills, how to handle it, how to proceed, and what you need to do. Now, I'm not a credit repair specialist. I've just been a bill collector for 33 years. So I do have some knowledge with that. So if you have any questions, if you took ill, you got medical things you don't know nothing about, it doesn't hurt to call them. They can't do nothing to you if you call. They already got all your information. They already know where you live. They already know your telephone number. They're not going to be blowing up your phone. What you do is you call them to see what you can do to clear it up, or how do I get this rectified through my insurance, because at the time of the service I was in rehab and it was right. All the dates coincided with each other. All right, so if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Thank you guys for coming by and watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll try to provide as much documentation on this journey as I can with you to try to make things a little bit more easier and smoother during this process, because medical bills is not something you want to be stressed out about. This is the last thing you want to be stressed out about. Okay, guys, see you on the next round, and thank you very much for stopping by. Take care.